I'm taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah, what's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, it's shit's real, we talk about it. Yo, I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, New England representative, and as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, yo, what's good? You already know who this is. Your boy King P, Bodega Box in the building. Ring Game Radio all day. Let's go. We got one less person, so you know what I'm saying. I'm here to we gotta pick up the slack today. So
yes, sir. You know, Pat Scorpio and King P, and then Pilot. Conscious Pilot will probably join us in a little bit.
Yeah, his flight is a little delayed. So
exactly, you know what I'm saying? Because these airports, they be tripping, just like it was tripping like when me and P was coming back from New Orleans from that Prograde fight. Like fucking ridiculous.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, that was by far, of all the traveling that I've done, that was by far the worst cancellations, because they canceled my flight 3 fucking times within 24 hours. It low-key ruined that last night in New Orleans, because I was ready to at least get paid the town right, and I'm getting all these notifications about cancellations. This shit was horrible, because it was scorching hot in New Orleans, but Boston was getting all types of thunderstorms and shit. Yeah, it was horrible though. But yeah, one day maybe a topic will be horror travel stories, because me and Pete, we've traveled a lot, and yeah, there have been some doozies.
Oh yeah, I definitely got a doozy for that one, for whenever that topic comes up. So
yeah, no, real talk though. But dig though, yeah, we got a couple recaps, and then we got a Twitter poll for y'all tonight. So we're gonna start off basically before we get into Jake Paul shit. We saw the return of one former WBC heavyweight champion, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Fighting on that was, I think it's like Global Combat Collective card.
Yeah, I forgot what the hell it was called. All I know was it was in Kansas. I was like,
yeah, it was in Kansas, and it was BAKL Prime. If you want, if you had the subscription to it, you got it for free. Else, you had to pay like $24.99 for it. So actually, I don't have either, and I don't necessarily condone it, but I had to watch it through other means. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't illegal. I mean, it was on YouTube. Someone was.
I was watching it on YouTube too.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I'll say about the event was it looked low budget as hell. Like, I know most people will be like, will go on like the Zone and some of the Zone events like that, but that shit was worse. Like, it was dusty, it was dark, there was all types of hot mic stuff going on. Like, there was some serious hot mics issues going over there. Like, yeah, that shit. Like, honestly, I get Wilder is, he's in the 9th inning of his career right now, but they could have picked a better platform with better logistics to actually do this type of fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are smaller promotions on the Zone that were more professionally run and stuff like that than what we saw there. And Global Collective, they actually did a good job with Prograde and Zepeda. Like, that shit was clear as a motherfucker. This one was just like, yeah, it just looked dark and smoky. It looked like it was like it was like for someone who was once a top 5 heavyweight, that's as low as you can go, type of deal. But anywho, Wilder, prior to this fight, he fired Malik Scott. And he also, he got a new trainer. So, trainer that will hopefully, to work out some, give him some new wrinkles. Although he's like, give or take 4 months short of turning 40. So, but I guess it's better late than never, because he's coming back. He's like 1-4 in his last 5 fights.
Hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
It was though, but at least for this fight with Herndon, Tyrell Herndon. It looked like he attempted to actually fight with his new style, but...
but let's be real. I don't say a prime Wilder, but a Wilder a decade ago would have got that can out in 1, maybe 2 rounds.
I'll say this. The one thing I liked was his actual commitment to using the jab.
Exactly, yes.
I haven't seen that from him in a while, so I was like, you know what? I like it. I always thought, like, a guy like Wilder, like, why can't he just really utilized the jab more. So I was like, you know what? Okay, we're getting back to that. Okay, the jab looks sharp, but I just thought, like, I mean, yeah, he's been out for a while, so he's a little rusty. But honestly, to me, it was more than that. I just don't think the reflexes and athleticism are there anymore.
They've been gone for a bit.
But in this one, it was painfully obvious that, like, the reflexes were shot.
Yes, that's the one thing. Like, I get the job. I mean, luckily with the jab, you don't necessarily have to have your knee. If you keep a steady jab, like, I mean, that's just half the battle. At least you can set up your offense that way.
He used to use the jab, I feel like, to measure his right hand. You know, that was that was his reason why he ever used the jab. It feels like.
No, like I mean, obviously, like, you know, back in the days when he was on Golden Boy, and then later on, like, you know, he basically it was a rangefinder, and then probably when he won the belt from Stavern, like that was his best jab. Like, bro used his jab, like jab, right hand, like that was his best boxing performance. But then, like I said, you know, for every part, he fell in love with his power because, you know, he had a God-given ability to knock somebody unconscious with one shot without so much as setting up a body shot or wearing them down. Like, they were gone after one shot, you know. And unfortunately, that didn't do much for his for his growth as a boxer, and eventually Waterman level. So you just see him at least go back to the basics against there. But one thing, but with P mentioning his reflexes slowing, was Herndon for at least half the fight was able to see that right hand coming. Like either he'd back up or he'd slip it. Like he was, or if I like do one or the other. Like I was thinking to myself, God damn. Like and then when the rights did land, it didn't necessarily like knock him off his feet like that. I was like, oh wow, look, that's where, you know, P was talking about the reflexes not being there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Herndon kind of anticipated it quite a bit, so
he did.
So I mean, that I'll give him props for that. He knew that was in the game plan and did his best to not like let it hit him flush.
So, he got worn down. Yeah, he kind of felt like he watched Joseph. He just watched the Joseph Parker fight as much as he could for his sake. It felt like, you know, the way he was fighting Herndon.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest mistake was, I mean, he was doing a good job avoiding the right hand. Like, he had the good movement, but, you know, for someone like Wilder, you actually got to start, you know, putting in some work early. Like, you have to fire back. Like, this is the one thing. Like, it's good. Like, we talk about this a lot. It's good to be defensive, yes, but you're depending on a guy that Wilder, for the most part, when he's actually at that type of weight, his stamina is actually pretty good. It's like, I don't know if he was wearing from to wear down or whatever, but he wasn't doing enough to actually to wear Wilder down, to at least get, you know, to at least put some, put a little damage on there. Although he did stagger Wilder a couple times, though, there was no question about that, you know. But it was just like it wasn't enough to do it, and he got wore down from doing all that moving around. And then the funny thing is too is like the one thing that Wilder did that I don't think it's been once I've seen him do it, is he actually scored a knockdown with a check hook. Actually, and that's something I didn't even think was even in his repertoire at all, to hit someone with that check hook. And because everyone knows his right hand is powered, and his left hand he's never shown
that hook was a little wide and at times a little sloppy, but managed to make it work. So.
It was iffy, but I mean, yeah, it was a shit show of a whole show. Like I actually ended up watching some of that show on the YouTube. Some nigga on the stream was bootlegging that shit, and it was hilarious. But it was just kind of a whole shit show.
He was on. He was basically just like, telling people like, if
you watching that one too. You're watching that stream too.
Yeah, he's like, if you give me the 10K, then I'll shut up type of deal. I'm like, nigga, you should be shutting up already. Like, the fuck?
He did get 10K. He got like 10K off that shit, though. I mean, I know he got clipped, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I said, but like, dude needed to shut up a little bit. Like, come on,
he was talking a little too much.
But Wilder eventually, like Pilot said before, like, if this was a more fresher Wilder, dude would have been out here at the latest by 3. And because I know I put a bet on a first round knockout, and I know Matt from Brunch Boxing put out a little get. I got to pull his collar because dude was out there like, as I think, put that as a short thing. fucking Wilder getting a knockout in the first round. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of upset people that that probably read that as like, okay, let me go do this shit, and then that shit didn't come close to happening, because I think Wilder was just so committed to actually just jabbing, to set up his offense, But eventually he got the stoppage in the 7th round. The referee kind of saved him, and truth to be told, it was kind of an anticlimactic knockout in a way. But
he was getting wore down, right? I think he was getting
wore down.
Yeah, he wore down.
Yeah, so like I mean I get it. Like it was better as it's better to have Herndon at least be stopped on his feet. That's the different just when he's about to be defensive, rather than Wilder being able to kind of load up a right hand from out of nowhere and send this dude to the intensive care. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like it's something to build on, because, like I said, the new coach already matched the number of wins he had with fucking
Malik Scott.
Yeah.
Do you think, real quick, in regard to Wilder, at this point in his career, obviously I think he's 40 almost, maybe 41, I'm not sure. Is it?
No, he turns 40 this year.
Okay. So would you do a whole, cause I know you said you want to fight 2 more fights, would you do a quote-unquote bum of the month tour type thing? Like get him 5-6 wins on some, or
no,
no. Okay.
There's no reason to do that.
Like, don't put him on chilling circuit, just cash him out?
Yeah, no, just, if we, I mean, call me crazy, I'm still holding out at least a little smidgen of hope that there's Wilder and Joshua. I don't care. I would still take that at this point.
This is gonna be the biggest travesty in boxing to not get a black African American UK, all undisputed at its apex. It's just it's the biggest travesty in the arguably the 21st century of boxing. I'm not even lying. We can get that.
I mean, it's up there, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, I mean, it's just like when Stevenson and Kovalev, they shared a fucking card, and Stevenson booked it to PBC, and then that shit was lost.
I mean, we have matchups like fucking Charlo Hurd and Superman Kovalev, LSC and GR, Gary Russell, but Wilder Joshua, that's the one that's the most missed. I feel like at least the past 15 years or decade, man.
I mean, there's that. I mean, as far as heavyweights, like because when they were undefeated, that was the. I mean, it's the same with Joshua and Fury too. Like the fact that Joshua's in 2 of those type of fights where it's missed opportunity that never happened is an atrocity. Like though any of those, one of those 2 fights happened would have done wonders for the heavyweight division. Surely would have done wonders for one of their Wilder's reputation or Joshua's reputation.
We did get the Wilder Fury trilogy, which will be a memorable trilogy all time. I don't care what it is what it is. It'll be a memorable heavyweight trilogy, but it's still a missed moment in time with Joshua.
No, it is and in fact, it's at the point right now where it's nearing expiration date, because now obviously Wilder just got back on the win column and Joshua is recovering from surgery, and he's probably down until the fight, until probably maybe later this year. And judging by his videos, because I follow, dude has been making tours of Africa and he's been living life. You know what I'm saying? Bro's been out there in different countries just living his life.
Yeah, I saw him and Azuma Nelson, together. That was pretty dope, though.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, with Wilder, I know Wilder says he wants to be back in the ring in the next couple of months, and he mentioned going to South Korea, which is very random and very odd. Like
he must have got a proposed bag out there to go and fight in South. He probably got some kind of guarantee offer or some shit of some money you can't take.
Yeah. But the question is, like, who would I mean, of all the places, like, who would he be fighting out there? So, Wilder, to my knowledge, is a man that made more than enough money in the sport. Like, he made generational money. So, if he's taking these random fights, like, hopefully it's just a fight. I mean, it's either, like, it should be just, like, a fight where, like, okay, something on the level of Herndon to at least work off the ring rust, because he was pretty rusty, but it was also clear that age and the level of fights he was at, the beatings he was taking, it caught up to him in a way. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes with Wilder. I think his next fight, depending on what it is, I know, like P says, put him in against Joshua. I don't think. I mean, truthfully, I don't think they'll do the. I mean, if they do the Joshua fight off rip after he's come out of surgery, I'll be surprised. So I would think that Joshua probably would need a tune-up, of some sort coming up there. But if Joshua is like, you know what, I want Wilder after that, like more props to him. Because unfortunately, it still is. It's still a 50-50 fight. Or
yeah, we still want to see it.
Joshua Wilder is still a big fight for whatever reason. It is. It just is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Fury right now is retired, and he says he's retired. He's not.
I thought he came out with the fake. I'm coming back type. You know how you pump faking all the time and shit. I thought he came out with something.
Yeah, he's always done like. I mean,
I'll be honest. Tyson Fury is a guy I wouldn't believe him even if his tongue was notarized. I don't care. He can't. Anything he says to me is null and void. So. Fury is a guy. Well, one thing I will say though, because I watched this reality show, and if you watch, and if it was on, it's still on Netflix. If you watch this reality show, you can kind of see how and why he moves the way he does. Like it's really let's just say boxing does more for him more than any of these other cats in there. I agree. Marquise, what up? Not the best fight weekend. Yeah, it wasn't. And Zora, what up, Zora? Wasn't the performance that will set his name on fire, but maybe it was what Wilder needed. Yes, you know what? It was what Wilder needed. So
he did need that because basically, like, I mean, after the Fury fights, he had the gimme with what's his name, and then Hellenius, and then afterwards, he got thrown with Parker and then Zhang. Like these they were hard fights. They were beatings, extended beatings, and a brutal knockout. So like it was good for him to kind of get a lower level because Herndon was the type of level that Wilder needed in order to look good at. Because if Herndon knocked him out, then I would be like, yeah, Wilder's probably done.
Or even if Herndon really like seriously hurt him, I would have just been like, we're good. What up, Chris Brandt? Salute, G's. And Wilder is cooked next time he faces a top 15 guy. I don't know about top 15, but top 10. Yeah, it depends on the matchup. Really.
Depends on the matchup. Yeah, like, but I mean, I would not put money on Wilder beating Usyk or Dubois.
No.
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, I would still favor him over the Dillian Whites and the Derek Chisoras. Those guys.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really that completely high on Atama, but I definitely would favor Atama in that fight if they were the fight.
I'm not saying Atama, but like I said, like those guys, those who are even more older and more cooked than Wilder. Yeah, I would take Wilder to beat those guys. But
yeah, I mean, and funny too is now Big Baby Miller is calling him out in the video. And truthfully, Big Baby, it's hard to kind of, like Big Baby for all of his PED usage is not, he can take some punishment.
It's not a good matchup for
it's not a good matchup for Wilder on that one because he would really be forced to really try to knock him out with one shot, and that might be a little bit difficult to do. So, but yeah, like I would say like make Wilder just kind of fight these type of level points, like give him at least one more, and then afterwards, try to cash him out in a big fight of some sort, like make the Joshua fight. But yeah, look, because like I said, because that Joshua fight is going to have an expiration date.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy. Wilder and Joshua never mixed it up, both being on PBC. I know there was rumors and it almost kind of fruition, but it's kind of unfortunate. That would have been a good fight 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago that would have been the fight though. But it's just like I said, I mean, Wilder went the Fury route, and and unfortunately, Joshua lost his 0 to Ruiz. It's just a lot of unfortunate situations that didn't need to happen, but it's just like people just couldn't get their shit together, and Joshua got deprived of his marquee fights, and Wilder got deprived of actually being the number one heavyweight. So, but like I said, it's not the first or the last time that the business of boxing gets in the way of the career trajectory of a fighter. Shit's gonna happen. But like I said, something to grow on to, and something to also mention before we move on to the Jake Paul card. Shout out to Billy though. for knocking out Selecki in one. Now,
I expected a little more. I was surprised. That was like the uppercut, that first uppercut.
Yeah, honestly, because Selecki, for his shortcomings, is a durable guy. Selecki is a hard guy to knock out. Like, he's faced enough guys that could have put him away. And honestly, I actually put money on that fight going the distance.
I love how we just look at them, how we look at him differently. You say durable, I say punching bag. But yeah, at this point,
I mean, see, I call him mid-Billy. I always feel like eventually he will get exposed. I was surprised he knocked him out with that uppercut in the first round. I was like, damn, that was quick.
Yeah, because the thing is, though, is like, and Billy looked bad, although he put on a beating, but he looked bad when he fought Derevyanchenko, and I'm just like...
He claimed injury, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, but that was a fight where I was expecting Derevyanchenko to actually get stopped, and Derevyanchenko has more mileage on his body than Selecki does. So that's why I was...
Yeah, but he also has, like... He's got, like, fucking 9 lives, where every time you expect the young guy to just step on him and finally get him out the paint, he turns back the hands of time for, like, fucking 5 rounds of just, like, what the fuck happened? Like,
he basically 5 or 6 rounds, he gives these guys absolute hell.
He's got a warrior spirit, yeah. You can never count out Derevyanchenko's heart. He got a warrior heart, for sure.
Yeah, he does, too. And then Selecki, I thought, like I said, I mean, punching back too, but he was a punching bag that had never been stopped until Billy, like he gave him one. He absorbed like a Tyson uppercut combo, and that was it. I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, come on.
Uppercut. Yeah, that was a crazy uppercut.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, like I expect that shit go the distance. I was like, shit, I should have get. I bet the wrong fight on the wrong motherfucking round prediction.
Who would you favor, real quick? But just a quick glance, Pacheco or Mbili, if they were to fight next, who would you favor?
What was that?
50-50. 50-50.
Pacheco versus Mbili.
It's like 50-50, yeah.
It's 50-50.
Which depends on which version of both guys we're getting. Because, like I said, Mbili runs hot and cold. So
does Pacheco. Excuse me.
Yeah, no. Pacheco has his moments too. But Pacheco has his opposite moments where it's like, oh yeah, he don't look good. So it's a 50-50 fight. That's the fight where both of them would show their true level.
And funny thing too is, like, I mean, obviously with Billy right now, he put himself in the sweepstakes for Canelo. Now, will he get Canelo? That remains to be seen. Like, at this particular time, he probably. I mean, if Canelo goes after him, then I'd be completely surprised. Like, but as long as Billy probably has that belt, most likely when Canelo is ready to get rid of it, or if, let's just say, Crawford relieves him of that belt, I mean, if Crawford beats him, then it'll be like, is Crawford going to actually defend those belts?
No, he won't. Real boxing fans need to hope Crawford. If you want to see 168, which I think is a budding division that has a lot of good fighters, if you want to see these matchups be made, you want Crawford to win because he's going to drop the belts. They'll disperse and we'll get some matchups. But
yeah, and then Billy will be the actual WBC champion, and then the WBC will be like, okay, you got 2 Mandos, now you got to satisfy. That's what they like to do.
What up, Blazing Killer? Salute Ring Gang. Off topic, but Pat, we got to calm down with the Jake hate on the RGR Twitter. We'll get into Jake.
We're gonna get into that shortly. But Billy though, like I'll give him his props though, because like I said, I didn't expect. Now, if he was like kill him, I thought he would kill him like late, because everyone that fights Selecki kind of nearly knocks him out late, but Selecki survives, type of deal. Or if they get him down early, they don't like I was there when he fought Andre, and then Andre didn't step on the gas anymore to get him out of there. It's just like, but Selecki always finds a way to survive against motherfuckers that can punch. And this time it was just, all it took was just one uppercut and he was out of there. So Billy is definitely alive. It is definitely he might be a top 3 super middleweight right now. I mean, that's probably safe to say, fellas. Like, he's up there because he's hot and cold though. That's gonna make him. That's what makes him exciting to watch. Like, you just don't know which version you're going to get with him. But salute to him because, like I said, I didn't expect that type of knockout from him. So, but yeah, like but it was, like I said, Friday was a decent night of fights though.